everybody. How are you today? StreamYard, what have you done now? Oh, okay. Maybe that's a good thing. The symbol is not. My Wi Fi symbol is not there. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. StreamYard, you're being weird. Anyway, I guess that means it's good connection. I don't know. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Debbie. Welcome to my channel. We are watching the attempted honor killing trial that went off the rails. I so hate this. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Okay, so everything was going along as normal, as planned. We were watching a live stream trial, and then Court TV was bad. They were bad Court TV. Bad Court TV. Bad. They didn't bleep out the names of minors, and the cameraman was not paying attention and was actually showing some of the video that was shown in court that was supposed to be fuzzed out. And now they are covering it. Court TV is covering it like they cover stories when they're not like live streaming them, and they're covering them. So we're getting bits and pieces of trial on a delay with them talking about it and reporting on it with like the talking heads. And so we no longer have live trial. So I'm just covering what they're covering, and I'm trying to, when I can, fast forward through the talking heads and the reporting and just trying to show you what they're showing us of the trial. And it's a mess, and I hate it. But like I always say, gavel to gavel, and we could take the good with the bad, the boring with the interesting, blah, blah, blah. So I'm doing my best, y'all. I'm doing my best. We are not bailing on this despite the hardships, because I am invested in this trial now, and I am sticking with it till the end, whether y'all are coming with me or not, because I need to know what happens. This poor child. I need to see her parents pay for this. I need to see it. So, and let's see what Judy has for us today. Oh, Judy, you're so sweet. Oh my gosh, look at this. I am not the best streamer, but thank you anyway. You're so sweet. An honor killing / shame killing is a type of murder in which a person is killed by or because of their partner, caused by culturally sanctioned beliefs that homicides are necessary as retribution for the perceived dishonoring of the family by the victim. Typical reasons for the murders include being in a relationship or having associations with social groups outside the family. You know, I wondered why I was so interested in this. And I think a lot of it has to do with when I was a teenager. And I live in the South. I live in North Florida. South Florida is not the South. Despite its geographic location, South Florida is not the South. I live in North Florida. I basically live in South Georgia and South Alabama. I live in North Florida. And when I was a teenager, I dated an African American guy, and my parents were having none of it. And so I've been through this. Now, they didn't try to kill me. They just made me break up with him. But I've had a very small taste of what this child has had. I didn't run away. They let me leave home, but then my boyfriend was like, "You're 18. You need your parents. You're only 18." And so we just broke up, and I went back home. But so I know what this, not to this extent. I don't know what it feels like, but I kind of know what it feels like. So not proud of my parents. Not proud at all. But anyway. It sucks. It does. I prefer to remain colorblind. I think all of us should be colorblind, but so. And because of this mess, to be honest, I have no idea where we left off. Um you're shocked, I know. So we're just gonna jump in. And if we're too far back, like if you guys were like, oh no, we watched this already, just tell me. And I'll zoom to another place. And I do have an update on Belle. I'm going to wait till some more people come in because there's only one person here now. And I'm watching myself on my laptop. So I guess the one person is me. Although Judy was here. But of course, StreamYard lies to me a lot of the time too. So I don't know. We could have a whole bunch of people in here right now. Stupid StreamYard. Oh, Judy is here. Well, why did it say only one person is in here? Because that's at least two. Yeah, the pediatrician was still on the stand. I got her. I just don't know where we were in her testimony. But I know we weren't to the cross yet. I know she was still the prosecutor was talking. I bet kids love her. Doesn't she look like a sweet little grandma? Like, I bet she is like the most wonderful pediatrician ever. Look at her. Just look at her. I bet the kids love her.
I'm going to use my finger instead to point at Dr. Gilbert. On this image, with regards to, I'm pointing sort of to the middle section of the image. What is the jury looking at here with regards to the red dots?
So each of those red dots is a petechial lesion, a broken blood vessel in the surface of the skin. And again, there are multiple petechial lesions. Your finger was going over a few of them.
Okay. And with regards to the petechia, if there is an episode of strangulation, is the petechia due to the jugular vein compression or the carotid artery compression?
It's secondary to the jugular vein occlusion or pressure and the backup of blood into the head.
Okay. Exhibit 73. Can you tell the jury what they're looking at in this photograph?
This is a front view of Fatima's chin with her neck extended and goes down to her top of her chest area. So it's including the entire neck down to the clavicles and then up to the chin.
Okay. And you testified earlier about sort of airway occlusion and the location of the trachea. Using my finger, this area right here in the middle of the image, is this the area where the trachea would in essence be located?
Yes, in Fatima, she, in this view, it's very easy to see the outline of her trachea. You can tell where the edge is on either side of the center there. So that large kind of tube appearing structure is her trachea.
Okay, and the edge that you're referring to, are you referring to this edge that I'm using?
Correct.
To reach my finger along the center of the image?
Yes.
Okay. In Exhibit 74, can you tell the jury what is being depicted in this photograph?
I know, innocent until proven guilty, but it irks me that this says allegedly tried to strangle his daughter. Because we have it on video. I hate this case so much. I just hate it.
Tell me what it says on the back, because there's not enough information as to whether this is right or left.
Okay. And is there information depicted at the top of the photograph that indicates what is being depicted?
I'm not seeing that it tells me if it's right or left. I believe this is left, but I would want that confirmed.
Okay. And just a few questions regarding the image, not knowing whether it's the right or the left of, when you say the right or the left, which body part are you referring to?
This is a picture of the neck, but because of the angle of it's a close-up picture of the neck, and because of the angle, it's difficult for me to ascertain if this is right or left.
Okay. And not knowing, understanding that you don't know if it's the right or the left, the discoloration that we see that is being depicted in the middle of the photograph, what is that?
That's bruising and abrasion of the neck.
Okay, and based on your training experience, can a strangulation episode cause bruising?
Yes.
And how does it cause bruising?
The pressure applied to the skin breaks the blood vessels underneath the skin, and it requires moderate to severe force of pressure to break blood vessels. And then when the blood seeps out of those broken blood vessels, it extravasates, which means it leaks up through the layers of the skin to become visible as a bruise.
Okay. Exhibit 75. Can you tell the jury what is being depicted in this photograph?
Yes, this is a photograph of the right side of Fatima's neck, and it includes her chin and her neck and the top of her chest.
Okay. And the discoloration we see here that I'm using my finger to trace, that is again in the middle-ish of the photograph. What is that discoloration?
Again, that is bruising of her anterior, the right side of her anterior neck.
Okay. And Dr. Gilbert, you testified earlier about the location of the jugular veins and the carotid artery. Are the well, let me ask you this question. When you're looking at a person's neck, can you see a person's jugular veins and carotid artery?
No, you can't.
Okay, and based on your medical experience with regards to the location of the jugular vein and the carotid artery on a person's right side of the neck, is that being depicted in this photograph? The
yes.
Location.
The location is correct in this photograph.
And where in this photograph would the jugular vein and the carotid artery be?
They would be right under the bruised area. Again, since we're on the right side of the neck, it would be the right carotid artery right next to the trachea, and then the right jugular vein right next to that.
Okay. And you indicated it would be underneath the bruised area. Would it be in this area that I'm pointing to with my finger?
No, because you're pointing to the clavicle area, which is more part of the chest. It would be up higher. The jugular vein and carotid artery are coming up that right where your finger is, again, right next to the trachea. The carotid artery is closer to the trachea, and the jugular vein is essentially where your finger was.
Okay, and for the record, my finger was in essence pointing to the middle of the image. Exhibit 77. Can you tell the jury what is being depicted in this photograph?
Yes, this is an image of the left side of Fatima's neck with her chin elevated, and it goes down into her the top part of her left chest.
Okay. Exhibit 78. Can you tell the jury what is being depicted in this photograph?
This is again the left side of Fatima's neck. This picture is not so close up. It's easy to ascertain that we're looking at the left side of her neck. We don't see the chin in this view, and the bottom of this view is actually at the bottom of her neck, not including her chest.
Okay.
We are following breaking news in the Donald Adelson case ahead of her August trial. Adelson's attorney has just filed several last-minute motions to try to exclude any testimony that interprets phone calls, emails, and text messages. Adelson is accused of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and solicitation to commit murder in connection with the shooting death of her ex-son-in-law, Dan Markell. Her attorney also filed a motion yesterday to keep out any mention of her proposed travel to Vietnam as consciousness of guilt. We're going to continue to follow this developing story. Jury selection in Adelson's case is scheduled to begin on August 19th. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Two parents face a jury
over the attempted murder of their own daughter.
Court TV takes you inside the trial that's torn up family.
Side of this photograph where the bruising is.
Okay, and the bruising that you're referring to, is it the discoloration that we see in the middle of the photograph?
And including the discoloration a little bit further up. There's additional bruising in this photograph in there, yes.
And are you referring to this portion, which is on the upper, very right-hand portion of the photograph?
Yes.
Dr. Gilbert, while Fatima was admitted to St. Peter's Hospital, and during her stay at St. Peter's Hospital, besides the photos that we just saw a moment ago that were taken by Ms. Rivas in the emergency department, do you know if additional photos were taken of Fatima subsequent to her time at the emergency department on October 18th?
Yes.
Okay. And what is the purpose of taking photos subsequent to her time at the emergency department?
When we admit a pediatric patient with any sort of visible injuries, we tend to follow the progression of those injuries with daily photographs. So with Fatima, when I came on service on Saturday, roughly about midday, we photographed the areas that we had seen injuries. We also asked Fatima if there were any other injuries that she was aware of on her body. Every child gets a full head-to-toe physical exam every day that they're in the hospital. So I was able to look at Fatima's body and make sure that no other injuries had shown up that we had not photographed on admission to the emergency room. We re-photographed the areas where we found positive findings: scratches, bruises, abrasions, and petechiae. So we took photographs of those areas again on Saturday when I was on service.
Okay. And Your Honor, permission to approach the witness?
You may.
Thank you.
And Dr. Gilbert, I've handed you what's been marked as State's Exhibits 99 to 102. If you could look through those exhibits and let me know when you're done looking through them.
Okay.
And do you recognize Exhibits 99 to 102?
Yes.
And what are being depicted in Exhibits 99 to 102?
These are photographs of Fatima's neck on Saturday, October 19th. These were taken by the resident, Jessica, and supervised by me. In other words, I asked Jessica to take pictures of these parts of her neck.
Okay. And do the and Exhibits 99 to 102, those photographs, do they accurately depict the injuries that you observed on Fatima on October 19th?
Yes, they do.
Your Honor, at this time, the state offers for admission to evidence Exhibits 99 to 102.
Mr. Kading, any objection?
No objection.
Mr. Larry?
No, Your Honor.
99 through 102 shall be admitted.
Permission to publish.
You may.
Dr. Gilbert, I'm showing you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 99. Can you tell the jury what is being depicted in this photograph?
Yes, this is a front view of Fatima's neck. It includes her chin. Both ears are visible, and it goes down to the base of the neck as it attaches to the chest.
Okay, and the discoloration that we see sort of that my finger is using to trace, that is in the upper middle portion of the image. What is that discoloration?
That's bruising that is on over the trachea and to the left, covering the areas where the carotid artery and the jugular vein would be.
Okay. In Exhibit 100, can you tell the jury what is being depicted in this photograph?
Yes, this is a photograph from the left side of Fatima's neck. It includes her chin, the bottom of her ear, and it goes down to her attachment of her neck to her chest.
Okay, and the discoloration that we see that I'm using to trace with my finger, that is in the bottom middle portion of the photograph. What is that?
That's all bruising on basically the bottom half of her neck on the left side as it connects to the shoulder and the chest.
And the
All right, let's pause testimony there and bring in criminal defense attorney Jessica Lettingham. Jessica, thank you so much for joining me on Court TV today. As we are listening to the pediatrician testify, Dr. Gilbert makes clear that there are injuries sustained by Fatima, and I believe the jury can conclude at the hands of the father. Let me stop there and get you to weigh in on the testimony so far of this witness.
This witness is a very hard testimony to stay awake to for the jury. So I really sympathize with them because it's been very long and dragged out and quite an anatomy lesson. But it is really important because she is trying to show her injuries were not from a seizure. It was from an actual strangulation. So although it's tedious, it is very important.
It's very important because it does establish injuries, again, according to the prosecution, at the hands of the father, one of the two defendants. Let me ask you this, because we know our YouTube viewers are really looking forward to the cross-examination of this doctor. If you were the defense attorney, what might you try to bring out on cross-examination, whether you're representing the father who actively was involved in the act versus the mother who was really standing by?
I'm sorry, guys.
Whenever you cross-examine a witness, such as a doctor or some other type of scientist,
Fatima's neck, it's just under the chin, the ear is not visible, down to where the neck.
I was wondering about that too. Entry into a building illegally with intent to commit a crime, especially theft. Oh, okay, it does make sense. I was gonna mention that yesterday, and it was there. You know how my brain works, y'all. It was there, and then it was gone. I was gonna say, why is it burglary and not trespassing? So I guess trespassing is not necessarily you're gonna commit a crime. You're just somewhere where you shouldn't be. Whereas burglary is intent to commit a crime, because she was gonna whatever to the kids, right? So they didn't know, but they knew she was gonna do something she wasn't supposed to do, because that's why she wasn't allowed on school, because she assaulted Isaiah. So yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, because I didn't understand why it was burglary either. Yes, Shadow, what do you want?
To the chest.
Okay, and the discoloration that we see that I'm using to trace from my finger, in essence, in the middle of the photograph, what is it?
That's all bruising of the side of the neck.
Exhibit 102, can you tell the jury what is being depicted in this photograph?
Yeah, this photograph is from the right side of her neck, again from under the chin to where the neck is attaching to the chest.
Okay. And the discoloration that we see that I'm using to trace with my finger that is in the middle of the image, what is that?
That's bruising over the trachea, the area of the carotid artery and the jugular vein on the right.
Okay. And then we also see discoloration sort of on the, that I'm using to trace with my finger on the left-hand side, left bottom portion of the photograph. What is that?
That's also bruising, again, on the right side of the neck at the base.
Okay. And Dr. Gilbert, you testified that you have, during the course of your career as a pediatrician with a subspecialty in child abuse, that you have in fact done strangulation exams yourself. Do every patient exhibit the same symptoms of strangulation?
No.
Okay. And are there times where you conduct a strangulation exam where you do not see any evidence of bruising?
Yes.
Okay. And the you testified that bruising is sort of bruising occurs. I believe you testified that it's due to the pressure that is being applied that causes the blood vessels to, in essence, break, causing blood to sort of go to the surface.
Correct.
Okay. And in order for the blood, oh, are you okay? Okay. And in order for blood vessels to break, is it dependent on like the amount of pressure, or is there no relationship between that?
Again, our science says it's moderate to severe force, so it is the amount of pressure placed on the skin that then causes those blood vessels to break.
Okay. And you testified earlier in some of the images that we observed that were taken by Ms. Rivas. You testified about the presence of petechia under Fatima's, I believe it was her right eye.
It was her right eye, yes.
Were you aware whether subsequent photos after she was admitted to the pediatric floor at St. Peter's Hospital, whether subsequent photos were taken of her face to determine whether the presence of petechia was still present?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, permission to approach the witness.
You may.
And Dr. Gilbert, I've handed you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 103. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And how do you recognize it?
This is the picture of the right side of Fatima's face. I recognize it because I looked at it in the medical records.
Okay. And the images that were taken of Fatima's face, are those part of the medical records?
Yes, they are.
And you testified earlier that you can't just go review a patient's medical records with no apparent reason. Were you able to review all of her medical records during her stay in October of 2024 at St. Peter's Hospital?
Yes, I was.
And does that, is that Exhibit 103 a accurate copy of a photo of her right side of her face that was contained in her medical records?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, at this time, the state offers for admission into evidence Exhibit 103.
Mr. Kading, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. O'Leary?
I have one here.
You may.
Another date of the picture.
10/21 of 2024.
Thank you. Objection.
103 shall be admitted.
Permission to publish.
You may.
Showing you Exhibit 103, can you tell the jury what is being depicted in this photograph?
Yes, this is a photo of the right side of Fatima's face, including her right eye, the right side of her nose, her lips, and her ear.
Okay. And earlier we saw a photograph of Fatima's right side of her face that contained the red dots that you described it as petechia. Do we still see that in this photograph?
No, the petechiae have all resolved.
Okay. And based on your training experience with regards to petechia, does it typically resolve on its own?
Yes.
Okay. And Dr. Gilbert, you testified, and we also seen photos that were taken of Fatima that documented injuries that was on her shoulder and around her neck. If there had been other injuries that were observed on other parts of her body, would photographs have been taken of those areas as well?
Yes, they would have.
And based on your review of her medical records and your own treatment of Fatima, were there bruising or injuries on any other parts of her body, such as her chest?
No, I did a full and thorough exam on Saturday, October 19th, and she had no other abrasions, scratches, bruises, or petechia seen other than on her face, neck, and left shoulder.
Okay.
Hearing about the injuries to Fatima, of course, the jury is seeing pictures we cannot show of the injuries to Fatima. And I would love our YouTubers as well.
Okay, Shadow. Get down. Come here, Belle. Come here. No, you don't want to. Okay. Now I have more people in here, and I have some of my prayer warriors in here. I'll give you my Belle update and try not to cry. Belle has a mass in her abdomen as well as another little tumor above it. They can't tell if it's cancer or not until they do an ultrasound and run some more tests. She's also been passing clots and peeing blood, and they can't tell if she has... Yes. And they can't tell if it's bladder cancer without doing more tests. She's 13 and pretty much at the end of her life anyway. So we're just going to keep her comfortable. The doctor put her on antibiotics in case it's just a urinary tract infection. She put her on a lower dose because her kidney function is declining. So we're just keeping her comfortable. And she's not in any pain. She doesn't seem to be in any distress. She was Sunday when I made the post and asked y'all to pray for her because she was trying to pass that blood clot. But once the blood clot passed, she went back to her normal self again. She's still passing the clots, but she doesn't seem to have had the trouble passing the clot like she did on Sunday. So right now she's fine. You just heard her. She's barking for dog treats, which she's gonna get as much as she wants. So that's the update on Belle.
Our viewers to let us know, do you think those injuries could appropriately be as a result of discipline? The defense is claiming discipline. Let us know your thoughts. We'll be right back.
It can.
Okay, and your left shoulder.
Strangulation episode. Even if a patient does not have their hyoid bone broken, can there still be damage to the trachea?
Yes.
And why is that?
The trachea is a very thick organ with cartilage. The hyoid bone is just one part of that organ, and the hyoid bone sits up at the top part of the trachea. So depending on where the pressure is applied for strangulation depends on where the injury or damage is done to the trachea. If the pressure is applied up high, basically kind of under the chin or the top of the neck, it's possible to break that hyoid bone. But if the pressure is applied a little bit lower, there's cartilage there, but not bone. So the pressure does impact the cartilage and can compress the trachea so air is not getting in or out, but not actually fracture anything.
Okay. And we also heard testimony yesterday that Fatima's CT angiogram scan did not show any vascular injuries. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And what are vascular injuries?
We can see on a CT angiogram if there's been a tear or injury to the carotid arteries. The importance of that is that if there is damage to that thick-walled muscular artery, then there can be long-term complications that could include stroke or dissection of that tear. So it is important when we have a strangulation victim to do the CT angiogram to be sure that there's no injury that could cause further damage later on. In Fatima's case, her CT angiogram did not show any damage to either of the carotid arteries.
Okay. And you testified that there were no damage to the carotid arteries. Based on your training experience, can carotid artery occlusion still occur without the patient having vascular injuries?
Correct, yes.
And the amount of pressure that is needed for carotid artery occlusion, in order for there to be vascular injuries, do you need more pressure applied to the carotid artery for vascular injuries, or less pressure, or does pressure play into the, or does pressure, the amount of pressure, does that determine whether there's vascular injuries?
Again, in the science of strangulation, it's not so much even the amount of pressure or the length of time. It simply does happen. Sometimes that carotid artery tears internally, and many times it does not. But it's really important to diagnose when there's a tear inside the carotid artery, because the complications from that are great.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Gilbert. No further questions at this time.
Mr. Kading, cross-examination.
Thank you. Morning, doctor.
Morning.
Couple of things. You said you had talked to Fatima about the abrasions on her left shoulder and the pain in her left hip.
Yes.
Okay. And those occurred in an unknown way, but she thinks when she hit the ground, right?
Correct. That's what she told me. Correct.
Is it possible that those injuries occurred when she hit some other hard object, say, for example, a tree trunk?
It's certainly possible. I didn't get a history that she had hit a tree trunk, but
It's consistent with that as well.
it's a possibility.
Okay. And if you hit something with your head hard, is it possible that the cerebral edema will come into play?
That's a possible side effect of a external injury to the head, yes.
Okay. And so you indicated that the cerebral edema was some sort of brain swelling.
That's what the definition of cerebral edema is.
Okay. And you could get that if you hit your head hard on something.
It's possible.
Okay. And if you get that, you said that every aspect of the brain would be impacted. Like, we're talking about everything that you said: breathing, right? Vision.
Are we still talking about, though, an external?
You can't ask questions.
No, I'm talking about just cerebral edema in general.
Cerebral edema in general generally affects the entire brain.
The entire brain. Okay.
Yes.
And does that include your ability to make decisions?
It can.
Okay. And it could affect your breathing?
Yes.
Your heart rate?
Yes.
Can it knock you unconscious, or can you become unconscious because of it?
You can become unconscious because of cerebral edema.
Okay. And so cerebral edema is something that can cause the symptoms of choking that you talked about, right? Strangulation, sorry.
Cerebral edema occurs with strangulation. Cerebral edema also occurs with head trauma.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But when you get cerebral edema, it can be from head trauma without any strangulation, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you can get it from hitting your head on something.
Hard.
Right.
Yes.
Can you get it from getting kicked in the head?
Yes, if it was a hard enough kick.
Somebody stomped on your head, you could get it?
Yes.
Or punched in the head or something like that?
Typically, we don't see it just with a punch in the head, but maybe with multiple punches.
Okay.
It needs to be significant trauma, external
Okay.
trauma.
External trauma, significant. And is it related to concussions?
Yes.
Okay. And so if you have a concussion, then you get the cerebral edema. Sometimes.
Sometimes, exactly.
Okay.
Still with us, criminal defense attorney Jessica Lettingham. Jessica, the thing that stands out to me is the witness in her demeanor. She is not hostile. She's not combative with cross-examination. And she's answering, yes, it's a possibility that bruises are from a tree trunk. It's a possibility she could get that injury to her head.
Minutes, yes.
All right.
You know, the one thing I don't like about this judge is she's like, you can't ask questions. Why not? If you're asking them to clarify their question, if you don't understand it, why can't you ask? Are you still talking? Because that was a valid question. Are you still talking about the tree trunk? You know, if she hit her head on a tree trunk, you can say, can you rephrase the question? That's a question. And they're allowed to ask that question. I don't understand this judge and her thing about, oh, you can't ask questions. I've never heard a judge say that before. It's weird. Is it a wash?
Now, I think you said the brain is the body's an amazing thing.
It is.
Right? Okay. One of the things about lack of oxygen to the brain is that the brain actually can function for 3 minutes or so without oxygen due to what it has stored. Is that right?
It has limited function. The function is diminishing over those 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
But there is, I mean, if you get your blood cut off, or excuse me, your blood flow cut off to your brain, it may cause you to pass out, but your brain still could be functioning in a kind of a protect mode for 3 minutes or so.
Up to the time of death, yes.
Right, okay.
Yes.
And then if somebody is being strangled and the force that's being exerted on their neck, carotid arteries, jugular veins, those sort of things, is released, blood starts flowing, and recovery can be very quick, right? In terms of regaining consciousness, right?
Correct.
Your ability to move,
Yes.
right? All of that can happen very quickly.
Yes.
Okay. And I think you established that there can be long-term effects, but not always.
Correct.
And the shorter the amount of time that you're deprived of blood and oxygen to your brain, the more likely your chance of not having long-term effects, right?
I would love to think that there's a direct correlation, but even people who have been strangled just to the point of unconsciousness and then woke up potentially could have long-term complications.
Okay. Potentially, but not usual.
Not guaranteed.
All right. Now, let's talk about hitting your head on something. Let's say that, in fact, you did hit your head on something hard. Would that affect your ability at that point to remember what was going on?
It could.
Okay. And that's why? Why does it affect that?
Again, significant blow to the head may impact the hippocampus where memory is laid down. It may impact many other aspects of the brain also.
Okay. All right, and so impact the brain negatively, obviously.
Yes.
Right? Does it affect your ability to reason?
It can, yes.
And what happens when you go unconscious?
Your brain is not awake, alert, making decisions. Your body is able to function as long as there is still oxygen and blood flow happening.
So your body is functioning, but you're not necessarily controlling what you're doing.
Well, you're not awake and alert, correct.
All right. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Mr. Leary, cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Dr. Gilbert.
Morning.
Thank you for being here for 2 days. So on the pictures that you talked about, the bruising on the back of Fatima's neck, did I correctly place that as towards the back?
Those were side pictures.
Okay.
So it was more lateral is the medical term we use, not posterior, not in the back.
Okay, and just so the record's clear, when you said lateral, you held your hand up to your ear and kind of went down from your ear?
Correct.
And in those pictures, Fatima's hair was pulled up, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, kind of signs of strangulation, the physical signs, would you agree, are somewhat subtle?
Can be.
And in this case, were subtle, correct?
I actually wouldn't say these were subtle.
Okay, well, to the non-professional.
Okay. It's hard for me to be non-professional.
And not to say to be unprofessional, but somebody who doesn't have the same training, correct? So, petechiae, you explained very clearly to the jury what petechiae is, correct?
Yes.
And somebody who saw a picture of petechiae, if I walked up at lunch and said, what is this? Somebody may say freckles, correct?
Correct.
And that's a fair description, right?
Yes.
But based on your training, you know that there's a medical explanation, particularly when you see that it didn't last longer than October 21st, that was not a freckle, but that was petechiae, correct?
That's why we continue to photograph every day. Correct.
Right. And so you would agree with me that that's kind of outside the common knowledge of the average person, correct?
Yes.
And that's kind of why you're here, to explain your expertise, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so, you know, the bruising and abrasions were more visible on Fatima the next day. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So, and in terms of the petechiae, was it more visible or about the same from the 18th to the 19th, do you recall?
We didn't demonstrate those photographs, but my recollection was they were still very visible on the 19th, yes.
They were still, okay. And then the scrape on the shoulder and the hip, she attributed to something other than strangulation, correct?
She did not have a scrape on her hip. She had pain,
pain
of her hip and no visible injury there. And the scrape on her left shoulder would not have been directly from the strangulation.
Okay, so if we're summarizing kind of the visual cues, it would be the petechiae on her face, correct?
Correct.
And abrasions below her ear, correct?
Correct.
Which may or may not be visible based on the location of her hair.
Correct.
Okay. So somebody who walks up on the scene and sees her, they're probably gonna notice kind of rapid breathing, correct?
Yes.
Like she's, you know, you're talking about the physical response to a post-strangulation event, correct? So rapid breathing, correct?
Correct.
Almost kind of panic.
Correct. That would be common.
Okay. And so somebody who didn't see what happened before that wouldn't necessarily automatically conclude that what I am observing is a post-strangulation person. Fair?
That's possible.
Okay. Because now if, let's say that this was a gunshot wound, right? And the gunshot wound is visible, depending on the location and the amount of blood, an average person may be able to say, okay, there's a significant wound there because of the blood and it is circular and quite possibly could be a gunshot wound. Agree?
Yes.
And same with like a knife cut, correct?
Correct.
And so, whereas strangulation, you have to do a much more you have to get information from the person, correct?
Yes.
If they're able to provide it, correct?
Yes.
And then you're doing a full body examination, correct?
Yes.
And then x-rays and pictures, correct?
If that person is in medical care, yes.
And so, getting information from Fatima was important to you understanding and making a diagnosis, fair?
Always true.
Okay. Okay, so somebody who comes up afterward isn't going to necessarily know outwardly signs that, this is a person who has just been strangled, correct? I mean, and you're hesitating, so I mean...
I'm hesitating because I can't ask you a question.
Okay, well, let me, okay, we operate in these, so somebody who, let's start from things. So Fatima regains consciousness, okay?
Yes.
From that point forward. And, Mr. Dean, from the principal, from the school, comes over and sees her on the ground and observes rapid breathing, big eyes, startled, we'll say petechiae eye. Would you expect a non-medical professional to say that person, I can conclusively say that person was just strangled?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Before we head to a break, we have a quick programming note. Court TV will be live for the sentencing hearing on Wednesday, July 23rd. That is tomorrow. Crime and Justice correspondent Matt.
And it is a common side effect of not being able to communicate after a strangling event, right? Difficulty speaking, that's a symptom, correct?
Correct.
And when somebody is regaining consciousness, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not like a light switch. Is that fair?
That is fair.
And I just snapped my finger and you shook your head yes.
Yes.
Fair? Okay, so it's not like I'm unconscious at 01 and then at 02, I'm fully functional and awake, correct?
Correct.
And so there's kind of this process of coming back to understanding what's going on.
Yes.
And you describe confusion
Yes.
and memory loss.
Correct.
And it's fair to think that the person, while they're unconscious, doesn't necessarily fully appreciate how they got to where they are when they're waking up, right?
Right.
This is not what they expected, correct?
Yes.
And if you ask somebody, well, how long were you unconscious for? That's not a question that you would expect them to be able to answer.
That's
Fair?
correct.
And may not be able to communicate to the person that they wake up with kind of what's going on.
True.
All right, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Zoe, redirect.
Dr. Gilbert, if a patient is hit hard enough on their head to cause cerebral edema, would you typically expect to see some sort of external injuries to the head?
Yes, you would.
Okay, and those external injuries, could they include bruising?
Yes.
Could it also include bumps to the head or knots?
Generally, a big bump on the head with a hard blow. Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Sorry. Yes, generally there'd be a big bump on the head with a blow like that.
Okay, and you testify that as being Fatima's treating physician, that you would also do a head-to-toe examination. During your examination, did you observe any bruising to her head?
I did not.
Okay, what about bumps or knots?
I did not. And I felt under her hair and her whole head during my exam.
And when you felt under her hair and over her whole entire head, did you feel any bumps or knots?
No.
Okay.
And she did not describe any pain with my palpation.
Okay. And you indicated that she does not describe any pain with your palpation. How is pain with palpation associated with bumps or knots on the head?
Well, if she had hit her head hard someplace, then even if there isn't a big bump for a bruise, there's still tenderness at that point of impact. And so if she had complained about pain, then I would have been more concerned about a bump on her head. But she did not complain about any pain with palpation, nor did I feel any bumps.
Okay. And when oxygen is being cut off to the brain, is the brain function in essence impaired?
It is.
Okay. And Mr. Leary, he's the defense attorney that just asked you some questions. He sort of asked you questions about signs and symptoms of strangulation that may be obvious to a professional like yourself, but maybe subtle and not all that obvious to a non-medical person. Would you say bruising, would that be considered something subtle or obvious to a non-professional?
It depends on the time that you're looking for the bruising and the area that you're looking. He made a point of saying if her hair was down, it may have been difficult to see the bruising, and bruising does progress over time. So the first pictures that we took may not have showed all the bruising, and the second day pictures showed more bruising, still from the same incident. So sometimes bruising is not at its highest peak, nor is it always visible immediately after an injury.
Okay. You testified that the photos of the bruising from the second day was more obvious than the bruising from the first day. The photos that were taken of the first day, did it still show obvious bruising on her neck?
Yes, it did.
Did it show obvious bruising on the front of her neck?
Yes, it did.
Did it show obvious bruising on the left side of her neck where the left side of her carotid artery and jugular vein was located?
Yes, it did.
Did it also show obvious bruising on her right side of her neck where the right side of her jugular vein and carotid artery is located?
Yes.
Okay. And if Mr. Leary was also asking you questions about subtle signs and obvious signs. If an individual sees somebody that is being placed in a headlock position and does not look like they have their eyes open and appear to be passed out or they've lost consciousness, would that be concern for strangulation?
Yes.
Okay. No further questions.
Mr. Kading, recross?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Leary?
Just to clarify, thank you, Your Honor. Just so we're clear, I absolutely agree. If you see somebody in a headlock and being choked, you would think strangulation, right?
Correct.
And you're shaking your head right.
Yes.
So my question is more, if you don't see what's going on and you come upon the scene afterward, you can surmise that there's been a struggle and that there's been something that's happened, but you don't necessarily can conclusively say strangulation just on your initial reaction. Is that fair?
I think that's very fair, especially if it's a lay person.
Okay, thank you.
May this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection, Mr. Kading? No, Your Honor. Mr. Larry? You are excused. You may step down and you're free to go. Thank you.
Dr. Joyce Gilbert, pediatrician, her testimony is over. Right now, let's bring in with us this hour trial attorney Natasha Scruggs, and YouTube comments are flowing in. Maybe it's just my own interpretation. Sometimes I watch them in that lack of
together, but they do each have
Basically, Fatima just she didn't like this trip that she was going to take, and so therefore she ran away, which is not the situation here. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Larry?
I do think the state can testify that the reason for not telling the parents is because there was a privileged conversation with her student. And so I think that puts things into context in terms of the fact that they concluded that there was no imminent risk, so therefore mandatory reporting or other law enforcement triggering events did not compel her to report to law enforcement. I think that is admissible. My concern is the generalized concern for Fatima's safety is based on hearsay conversations with Fatima He touches on 404B that the state said that they weren't going to elicit. In terms of, they're not saying that, yes, the state chose to try these cases together. I have to represent my client's interests. I will note that Mr. Kading's questions about whether or not she felt safe at school or enjoyed school, the state in their initial direct elicited testimony that she had skipped class but had stayed in a bathroom or stayed in school. I believe Mr. Kading then followed up and said, well, that's not 100% complete because there are also times where you skip school and went to a Safeway, and she said yes. In terms of the, talking to her about not telling the truth, the state elicited on their opening direct that there was a hearing which she admitted under oath that she testified under oath and admitted that she didn't tell the truth to the court. They elicited that information, and Mr. Kading followed up on that. So I don't think that the questions asked by Mr. Kading opened the door. Certainly didn't open the door to my client. And I think having the school testify ambiguously about
Thank you so much to Natasha Scruggs for joining us today. Coming up next, of course, our Michael Ayala joining me for more of the attempted murder trial for Ihsan and Zahraa Ali. Stay with us, Court TV. Your
safe place to go, and we lined her up with that, and I think that is appropriate testimony for the record.
So first of all, I'm not going to indicate what questions specifically can and cannot be asked. And I know that that's not what Mr. Leary meant, but he was saying, well, I think it's okay if I ask this question and this question and this question. I'm not going to be that detailed. In the direct of Ms. Robinson, whether or not she had a generalized concern for Fatima's safety.
Good Lord, do not tell Travis that. He already says his smell like roses every time I complain. Don't tell him that, because then he'll just do it more often and be like, I'm saving you from a heart attack.
May be relevant to explain all of the things that she did with Fatima on that day. The general concerns of the school, absolutely not. No one can testify as to the school's concerns. I don't know, maybe the principal could, but I don't even know that he can. I think that this witness can only talk about her contact with Fatima, how she knows Fatima, and then what she did on October 18th. And I would prohibit specific any specifics being testified by this witness as it relates to things that Fatima told her, which gave rise to her concerns. Ms. O said she wouldn't offer that. Mr. Leary has argued that he's concerned about the potential of 404B, which the court certainly understands. There is nothing specific that will be testified to other than her generalized, if that's what she says, that she was concerned for Fatima's safety on that date, or concerned for Fatima. I don't know what she's going to say, something along those lines. And it is relevant to explain her contact with Fatima and apparently things that happened while Fatima was at the school. It is consistent with information that Fatima testified to as it relates to feeling safe at school. She testified that's why she went there on October 18th. I don't think she used the words, I had nowhere else to go. But she did indicate that that was her safe place. And absolutely, through cross-examination, the inference is that Fatima is an almost adult who did not like the rules of her home, and had a relationship she was not supposed to be in, and she ran away and wasn't following her parents' directive. This, and that there was no basis, that was just kind of like teenage angst. I don't know if that's the right, but rebellion, teenage rebellion is really what the argument is. And that's defense theory, and the defense absolutely gets to develop that and argue that, and that's what they have been doing, at least as to Mr. Kading on Mr. Ali's behalf. But the state has the ability then to present rebuttal to that, really, that it was not just a rebellious teenager who was acting out against rules just because she was 17 and didn't want to be told what to do. And that's where the relevance lies as well. So I think I'm sustaining and overruling the objection. It is somewhat limited, but Ms. Robinson can testify as to her generalized concerns based upon her interactions with Fatima without going into any specifics. Bring the jury in, please. You can go ahead and have the witness come.
All right, so here, Judge, what they're dancing around is this idea of what we talked about earlier from the beginning of the trial, that they can't talk about the honor killing, et cetera, but you also have to be careful not to just let this jury think that this was just some kid involved in teenage rebellion. There was more there. So just how much do you let this woman testify to? That's what this was all about.
Absolutely, and I like the way the judge broke it down, was very specific about the different items and that she felt safe at school and some of the things she's allowed and not allowed to say. We understand that witness, this is Elizabeth Robinson, is now on the stand. Let's go back in.
Yeah, because this isn't just a kid that wanted to date someone her parents didn't approve of. This is worlds apart from that. That was what I did. This is worlds apart from that. They want her to go to Iraq and marry a 60-year-old man. This is worlds apart from that.
Fatima was a student of Timberline High School.
No, she wasn't.
Okay, and do you know where she was attending school?
She was attending school at Summit Virtual Academy.
Okay, and is Summit Virtual Academy still part of the North Thurston School District?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And after Fatima started classes with Summit Virtual Academy, were you able to have any contact with her?
No.
Okay. And prior to Fatima starting with Summit Virtual Academy, do you know if she was a student at Timberline High School?
Yes, she was.
Okay. And while she was a student at Timberline High School, did you have any contact with her at that time?
Yes.
Okay. And was it in your capacity as a mental health specialist?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember how many times Fatima went to seek your services?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall if it was once or more than once?
More than once.
Okay. And Ms. Robinson, in general,
yeah, he was rich. He was rich. They wanted the money. This had nothing to do with their daughter or tradition, or this was about greed. They might say it's about tradition, but I disagree. This guy was rich.
If you as a mental health specialist have a student that comes to you and you have a concern about their safety and and they indicated that they have run away from home, what actions can you take as a mental health specialist?
It depends on the situation.
Okay. What are some of the actions that you could take?
Some of the possible actions that I could take is providing resources for them for a youth shelter, calling law enforcement, or calling DSHS.
Okay. And with regards to calling law enforcement, does it require there to be a imminent risk for student safety at that moment while they're with you?
Yes, it does.
Okay. And with regards to some of the outside resources that you mentioned, such as a youth shelter, do you know whether, well, let me ask you this question. Do you have any experience in dealing with those outside agencies?
Yes.
And do you know whether those outside agencies have any requirements to do notifications to parents or law enforcement if they receive a student that is potentially a runaway?
Objection, close for hearsay.
Overruled.
And do you know whether those outside agencies have any requirements requiring them to do notifications?
Yes, they do.
Okay, and is it required by law?
It is required by law. They have 72 hours to notify parents, and usually they do so within 24.
Okay. And do you know a student by the name of Isaiah?
He's a student at Timberline High School.
Okay. And you already testified that you know Fatima Ali. The times that you also testified that Fatima, while she was attending Timberline High School, went to speak with you on more than one occasion. Without going into the specifics of what Fatima discussed with you, did she, when she sought out your services, did she speak to you about her family?
Yes.
And did she also speak to you about the dynamics within her family?
Yes.
Okay. And based on your interactions with Fatima, did you yourself develop any concerns for her safety?
Yes.
And October 18th of 2024, I want to ask you a few questions about that day. Did you have contact with Fatima on that day?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And do you remember approximately when you first had contact with her?
She came in around 9:30 a.m.
Okay. And where did you first see her that morning?
All right, we need to step aside for just a moment. On the other side of the break, we will have more testimony in the attempted honor killing trial. And we want to know what you think. Join the discussion on our YouTube page, and we will share some of your comments or questions.
Plus, the jury hears the disturbing conversation the defendant in the in-law massacre case had with his mother about killing his wife's parents.
And when you saw Fatima sitting outside your office, did you speak with her?
I did.
Okay. And where did you speak with her?
In the counseling center.
Okay. And where is the counseling center located?
It is right next to our front office in the front of the school.
Okay. And did you at some point also speak with Fatima inside your office?
Yes, I did.
And where is your office in relationship to the front office?
It is also in the counseling center.
Okay. And without telling the jury what she specifically stated to you, well, let me ask you this question instead. Were you made aware by Fatima that she had left home that morning?
Yes.
And were you also made aware that her intention was not to return home?
Yes.
Okay. And without going into the specifics, did she talk to you about her concerns about a trip that was coming up?
Yes, she did.
Okay. And while Fatima was inside your office, did you connect her with any outside agencies?
Yes.
Okay. And which outside agency did you connect her with?
I gave her the phone number for the 1-800 runaway hotline.
Okay. And did you in fact call the national runaway hotline number for her?
We called together.
Okay. And was there a conversation with that hotline?
Yes.
Okay. And the concerns that you have, Fatima, did you share that information with the hotline?
Yes.
Okay. And at some point after Fatima being in your office for a while, did you also connect her with another school official?
Yes, I did.
And who did you connect her with?
Our Timberline student navigator.
Okay, and what's a student navigator?
A student navigator is one of our staff members that helps students that are struggling with housing instability or have run away.
Okay. And after Fatima you indicated that you connected her with a student navigator. How long was Fatima in your office approximately before you connected her with the student navigator?
It was approximately 2 to 2.5 hours.
Okay. And while Fatima was in your office, did you also work on a safety plan with her?
Yes, we created an extensive safety plan.
Okay. And after Fatima was connected with the student navigator, did she come back to see you in your office?
Yes.
And during the course of your contact with her that day, did you and other school employees provide her with any items?
Yes.
And what kind of items did you provide for her?
We provided her a blanket, a sweatshirt, a hat, and a Chromebook to take to the youth shelter.
Okay. And you indicated that those items were provided for her to take to a youth shelter. Do you know whether a setup would, let me rephrase my question. Do you know if there was a placement for her at a youth shelter for that evening?
Yes, our student navigator was able to get a bed scheduled for Fatima for that evening.
Okay. And then at some point did Fatima leave your office?
Yes.
And did you walk her out of your office?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And prior to her leaving the school building, did she connect with any of the students there?
Yes, she did.
And who does she connect? And after Fatima and Isaiah went to the bus stop, did you go back to the front office?
I did.
Okay. And when you went back to the office?
All right, I want to bring in our guest joining us this hour is criminal defense attorney and former head prosecutor Bob Bianchi. Bob, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Great to see you today. And I just want to say third party.
The way that she was walking prior to leaving the school building with the way she walked into the front office after they got to the bus stop, was there a difference?
It was completely different.
Okay. And after Fatima indicated he tried to kill me, where did you end up taking her to?
Tracy Arnold said get her to a locked room.
Okay. And did you in fact take Fatima to a locked room?
Yes.
And whose room or office did you take her to?
My office.
Okay. And when she first staggered into the front office, was Isaac?
He was.
Okay. And when you took Fatima into your office, did Isaiah take him into your office?
Yes.
Okay. And after you took Fatima and Isaiah, what did you do with the door?
I locked the door and shut the shade so that the window wasn't visible.
Okay. And do you know whether at some point the school was placed on lockdown?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And what is a lockdown?
A lockdown is when all of the doors are locked and no one can come in and no one can leave.
Okay. And while Fatima was inside your office, did she also, without specifically stating what she said, did she also tell you what if anything her dad had did to her earlier?
Yes, he did. Or she did. I'm sorry.
And without stating specifically what she said, did she also tell you what if anything her mom did to her earlier?
She did.
Okay. And when she was telling you what her dad and her mom did to her earlier, what was her demeanor like?
She was really upset and was questioning a lot of things.
Okay. And did she appear calm to you?
No.
Okay. And what about her voice? What did that sound like?
She was having trouble talking and said it hurts to talk.
Okay. And what did she say while she was upset? What did she say that her dad did to her?
She said that he tried to choke her.
Okay, and while she was upset, what did she say her mom did to her?
That she came around in back of her and choked her too.
Okay. And do you know whether law enforcement was called that day?
Yes, they were.
Okay, and prior to law enforcement arriving, well, let me ask you this question. Do you know whether medics was called as well?
EMS and law enforcement were called.
Okay, and prior to the arrival of law enforcement and EMS, did you have Fatima and Isaiah, any school medical professionals?
Yes, I did. Our school nurse.
Okay. And then did you yourself, after Fatima staggered into the front office and during your contact with her, did you observe any injuries on her body?
Yes, I did.
And what did you observe?
She had marks on her neck.
Okay. And then what about Isaiah? Injuries on his body?
Yes.
And what did you observe?
His hand was swollen and he had a mark on his head.
Okay. No further questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Cross-examination, Mr. Katie?
I have no question.
All right, we need to hit the pause button. When we come back, the witness does testify on cross-examination. Let's see how the defense tackles her. We'll be right back on the other side. Two parents face a jury
Over the attempted murder of their own daughter.
Court TV takes you inside the trial that's torn a family apart.
The attempted honor killing trial. Live coverage today, only on Court TV.
Tonight, on closing arguments, we're live from Boise ahead of tomorrow's sentencing in the Idaho student murders case. Plus, two parents stand trial for trying to allegedly kill their own daughter.
Closing arguments tonight at 8, 7 Central, only on Court TV.
Sorry, guys.
I was not.
Okay, and was October 18th a Friday? Okay, and what is your typical work week?
So I normally work Monday through Thursday and Friday, Saturday, Sundays.
He was not.
No further questions.
Thank you. Mr. Kading, any cross-examination?
No, thank you.
Mr. Leary, anything further?
No, thank you.
May this witness be excused?
Subject to recall, but yes.
All right. You may step down and
Office did you take her to?
My office.
Okay, and when she first staggered into the front,
I was not.
Okay, and
Today, seeking
The set of our will.
I was not.
okay, and
I was not.
okay, and
I was not.
okay, and
today, seeking to
I was not.
okay,
I was not.
okay, and was October 18th a Friday?
She was not something. Dang it. Okay, let me try this again. This is gonna drive me crazy.
I was not.
Okay, and
Damn it. See? Court TV, you're making me cuss. Stop.
today, seeking to extend the no
It says pull up for chapters, and it's not pulling it up. Stupid thing.
I was not.
okay, and was October 18th a Friday?
Yes.
Okay, and what is your typical work week?
So I normally work Monday through Thursday and Friday, Saturday, Sundays are my days off.
Okay. And after you you indicated that you work Monday through Thursdays, did you go back to work on October 21st, which would have been a Monday?
Yes.
Okay. And after you went back to work on October 21st, did you become aware of a situation that had occurred at the intercity transit bus stop in front of the high school on October 18th?
Yes.
Okay. And then after you were made aware of the situation, or you learned about the situation, did you conduct follow-up investigation in this case?
Yes.
Okay. And on October 21st, did you speak to any students or their family members on this case?
Yes.
And who did you speak with?
One of the involved students.
Okay. And Isaiah Williams High School?
Yes.
Okay. And you testified earlier that 4 years at Timberline High School that you are familiar with the students there. As a result of that, were you also aware who Isaiah? And after speaking with Isaiah, did you at some point make contact with Fatima?
Yes.
Okay, and where did you make contact with Fatima?
At St. Peter Hospital.
Okay. And without telling the jury what she specifically told you, did she sort of give you a recollection of what she remembers happening at the bus stop?
Yes.
Okay. And without telling what she she specifically told you, did she discuss with you about both just her dad's actions or both her mom and her dad's actions at the bus stop?
Objection, closer here.
Sustained.
And after speaking with Fatima, did you at some point make contact with Isaiah?
Yes.
Okay, and without going into details about what Isaiah share with you what had occurred at the bus stop and afterwards?
Yes.
Okay. And Officer Howard, given your location at Timberline High School, do you know whether Timberline High School have any surveillance cameras?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you know that Timberline High School have surveillance cameras?
Well, at the time in October 2024, that would have been 7 years as a school resource officer, and we often use the school cameras.
Okay. And prior to October 18th, have you ever used the surveillance camera at Timberline High School to review footage of anything that was of interest to you as a school resource officer that may have occurred on campus?
Yes.
Okay. Have you only used the surveillance camera to review footage once or more than once?
More than once.
Okay. And do you know where the cameras are located?
Yes, generally speaking.
Okay. And where are some of the locations of the cameras?
Coming into the school parking lot, gymnasium, the back of the school, the property.
Okay. And after speaking with Fatima and I had occurred at the bus stop, did you try to locate surveillance footage of the incident at the school through the surveillance cameras?
Yes.
Okay. And was there a time frame that you were specifically looking at in the surveillance cameras?
Yes.
And what was that time frame?
October 18, 2024, around 2 p.m.
Okay. And when reviewing the camera footage, did you at any point see Isaiah on the camera?
Yes.
Okay. And what about Zahraa Ali? Did you ever see her being captured on the cameras?
Yes.
Okay. And when you observed Mrs. Ali captured on the cameras, do you remember what she was wearing?
Yes.
And what was she wearing?
A greenish colored headdress, a long sleeve black top, and it appeared to be like a long black skirt.
Okay. And then what about Isaiah? What the camera captured him wearing?
Yes.
And what was that?
A long sleeve, it looked like black or dark colored top and light colored pants.
Okay. And what about Fatima? Did the cameras also capture Fatima?
Yes.
And what was she wearing?
A long sleeve dark colored top and dark colored bottoms.
Okay. And prior to October 18th, had you had contact with Zahraa Ali at the school?
Yes.
And was that contact in September of 2024?
Yes.
And what day in September of 2024?
September 17th of 2024.
Okay. Permission to approach the witness, Your Honor.
You may.
Officer Howard, I've handed you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 113. Do you recognize that exhibit?
Yes.
And what is that exhibit of?
It's the trespass letter.
Okay. And is that an accurate copy of the trespass letter that you served on Mrs. Ali on September 17th of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. And when you served the trespass letter, where did that occur?
At the Timberline High School.
Okay. Did it occur out in the hallways, the front office, or someone's office?
That occurred in Vice Principal Celeste Waltermeyer's office.
Okay. And was Miss Waltermeyer also present when you served the Mrs. Ali the trespass letter?
Yes.
Okay. And was your body-worn camera on and recording when you served the trespass letter?
No.
Okay. And at the time when you served the trespass letter, well, let me ask you this question. Inside Ms. Waltermeyer's office, was your role simply just providing that letter to Mrs. Ali on behalf of the school?
At the time, yes.
Okay. And when you first served the letter on Mrs. Ali, was she there by herself or did she have any family members with her?
She was initially by herself.
Okay. And when she was by herself, did you speak with her?
Yes.
And was that communication in English or a different language?
In English.
Okay. And based on and did she appear to have any confusion on what you were talking to her about?
No.
Okay. And at some point, did you offer her an interpreter service?
Yes, we use a language line.
And did you offer her language line?
Yes.
And what is a language line?
A language line is the number that we can call when we're dealing with folks if they have difficulty with English. So they provide a lot of different languages on the language line.
Okay. And to your knowledge, is Arabic one of the languages that is offered as a service on the language line?
I believe so.
Okay. And when you offered Mrs. Ali the assistance of the language line, did she accept your offer?
No.
And did she herself have any specific requests on who she wanted to be there to assist her with translation?
Yes.
And who does she want there herself?
It was her oldest daughter, Haneen Ali.
Okay.
All right, we'll step aside here to squeeze in a short break. But before we do, I'd like to welcome our viewers who are joining us today on our YouTube channel. Now, we're going to be monitoring that page live throughout the show today into our next hour as well. And we're going to answer a few of your questions. So join the chat, send us your questions for a chance to have them answered live on the
Ali's request allow her to have Haneen present.
Yes.
Okay, and was at that time was Haneen present when Mrs. Ali requested her assistance?
I don't believe so.
Okay, did you all have to wait for Haneen to get there then?
I believe so.
Okay. And then as part of issuing the trespass letter, did you also explain to Mrs. Ali sort of the places that she's not allowed to go to when it comes to the school?
Yes.
And what did you explain to her or advise her?
That it related specifically to Timberline High School, which would include the building, inside the building, outside the building, like the parking lot, as well as like the track field or the baseball fields.
Okay. And Officer Howard, were you also aware that there were videos taken of the incident at the bus stop?
Yes.
And did you at any point, well, let me ask you this question. What, if any, videos were you able to obtain on October 22nd of 2024?
The intercity transit bus videos.
Okay. And were you successful in obtaining the IT bus videos capturing the incident?
Yes.
Okay. And did you also watch those videos after you collected them from intercity transit?
Yes.
And did you recognize any of the students that were depicted on the videos?
Yes, I did.
And who did you recognize? And besides obtaining the inner city transit bus videos, did you obtain any other videos?
Yes.
And were they videos taken by students or adults, to your knowledge?
Students.
And which two students did you obtain videos from? Obtained the video from Noah Pierpont and what he had observed himself at the bus stop.
Yes.
And Noah Pierpont with Timberline High School.
Yes, he's also one of my students at Timberline.
Okay. And do you you testify that you also obtained a video from
He's also one of my students at Timberline.
Okay. And when you made contact with Elijah on what his observations were of the incident at the bus stop?
Yes.
Okay. And Officer Howard, you when describing the relationship of Noah, you testified that they're your students. Is it fair to say that you sort of view all the students at Timberline High School as your students?
Yes.
Okay. And besides obtaining statements from
Yes, I did.
And do you remember whose statements you obtained?
Yes.
Okay. And who were they?
Yeah, it's annoying. Hi.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kading, cross-examination.
I have no question, John.
Thank you. Mr. Larry, cross.
All right, just want to remind you, we cannot allow the names of any of the minors to be said on the air, so that's why we block that out when she's saying those names. All right, we're going to go to break, but before we do, I have an update in Florida where prosecutors rested their case today in the penalty phase of confessed murderer Shelby Neely. The defense then got underway, delivering their opening statement and calling witnesses. Now, Neely pleaded guilty to killing his mother and father-in-law, as well as his brother-in-law, in December 8th. Now, it was during that investigation that... Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Michael Ayala. I want to take you back to court now in Washington. Ihsan Ali and his wife Zahraa are accused of trying to kill their 17-year-old daughter back in October of last year. At a bus stop near her former high school, Ihsan was seen on surveillance and cell phone video attacking his daughter and putting her in a chokehold. Now, according to court documents, his daughter told police that Ali threatened her with an honor killing after she rejected an arranged marriage. Neither side is allowed to mention honor killing because the judge ruled that it is too. Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Michael Ayala. I want to take you back to court now in Washington. Ihsan Ali and his wife Zahraa are accused.
And so, and then what causes you to generate a report?
Often normal reports are like in reference to like criminal events or behaviors that are occurring in the school.
And so from the September 17th transmission of the letter to Zahraa Ali, so you didn't activate your body-worn camera, correct?
Correct.
And didn't generate a report, correct?
Not specifically with the issuance of the letter, no.
Okay. And so were you a part of generating the letter that was handed to her?
No.
And did you read it to her, or was it read to her in that September 17th meeting?
I believe I went over what the letter had stated in reference to specifically relating to Timberline High School.
Okay. And so, and you testified on direct, the points that you made is that she wasn't allowed, Mrs. Ali wasn't allowed to be at Timberline High School, and you said the buildings, track and field, the complex.
Yes, and the parking lots too.
Okay. Was she precluded from being anywhere else?
Well, anywhere that was what it stated, the North Thurston School District properties.
Did you say that, or did you just say or did you just say Timberline High School?
Well, I believe I read the language that was on the letter, but it related specifically to Timberline because that's where her daughter was attending at the time.
Okay, and do you have a specific recollection of that?
Just in generality, in reference to Timberline High School.
Okay, all right. And was it clear to you that English was not her first language?
Well, when I initially spoke with her, it was in English, but out of respect for her request that her daughter respond to help with translation, that's why her daughter was contacted to respond.
Okay, so was it clear to you that English wasn't her first language, though?
I believe she understood what I was saying in English, but because she requested her daughter to help with additional translation, that's why I'd also offered the language line as well, too. I'm not going to assume one way or the other, but it was at her request, and that's why I had called for her daughter to respond.
Okay, nothing further.
Redirect. Officer Howard, with regards to when you served Mrs. Ali with the trespass letter, when you were providing her with a trespass letter, it was not a criminal investigation. Is that fair to say?
That is correct.
Okay, and this may seem like a silly question, but it was not a traffic stop either?
No, it was not.
Okay, and is it fair to say you were simply assisting the school in providing a parent with in this case, a no trespass letter?
Yes.
And when you spoke with Mrs. Ali, you testified earlier about, you also told her about the prohibited places as it relates to Timberline High School. Did you share that information with her orally?
Yes.
Okay, and were you very specific as to Timberline High School?
Yes, because that's where her daughter was attending.
Okay, and her daughter, which daughter are you referring to?
Fatima.
Okay, and when you explained to her you mentioned the track course and then also the parking lot and the gymnasium, when you referred to all those areas, were you specific that it was associated with Timberline High School?
Yes.
Okay, and when you shared that information with her, did it appear to you that she had any difficulty understanding what you had told her?
Sustained.
Okay, when you shared that information with her, did she say anything along the lines of, I don't understand, I'm confused?
No.
Okay, no further questions.
Mr. Cade.
All right, remember, one of the things that Zahraa is charged with is violating that very order. All right, we'll pause it right there for a quick break. Now, when we come back, we'll be outside the jury's presence as they proffer a potential witness in the attempted murder trial. All that and more is up next, so keep it here on Court TV.
Do they need a test?
If I was alone.
Bring back in. Coming up, that
grabbed her by the and spun around and then hold on her.
Treasury enforcement communication system, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. And so did you engage any other, outside of those federal partners and setting that alert, did you engage any other systems associated with tracking travel of the family that you recall?
No.
Okay. And did you engage with CPS in this case?
I did.
Okay. At some point during the course of this, were you aware of Miss Ali's, Zahraa Ali's location?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, did you have to make any coordinations with any agencies regarding Mrs. Ali's location?
I did.
Okay. Where or who did you make those communications or coordinations with?
With the Whatcom County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. And where is Whatcom County?
On a northern border of the state of Washington.
And what do you mean by a northern border?
Bordering the country of Canada.
Okay. And when you made coordinations with the Whatcom County, what was your intent in making that coordination?
To arrange for Custody transfer,
And transfer to where?
Thurston County.
Okay. And were you able to complete that coordination?
I was.
Okay. Did you specifically retrieve or do the collection of Miss Ali?
No,
Okay. Do you know if she was returned to Thurston County?
I do.
Okay. Sergeant Knight, what other, outside of that flight notification, the coordination regarding Miss Ali with Botcombe County, and I believe the initial travel confirmation that you testified to, did you take any other acts associated with this case or have any other involvement?
I did.
And what involvement was that?
I assisted in the service of a search warrant on the Ali residence in November.
Okay, in November of 2024?
Correct.
Do you remember what the date of that was?
I believe it was the 20th.
The 20th of November?
Correct.
Okay. So by November 2024, would that have been approximately a month after the initial incident?
Correct.
Okay. And based on that execution, was there anything of evidentiary value located at that time based on your involvement?
No.
Anything additional? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Keating, do you have any cross-examination?
I do not.
Mr. Leary?
Good afternoon, Sergeant. Good afternoon.
All right, so you had requested of a federal partner to have basically alert for travel of any of the Ali family members, correct?
Correct.
And you said land, air, or sea, correct?
Correct.
So if they got on a plane, you would, let's say they flew to Spokane, would you have known?
That I'm not sure. That was focused on out of the country.
Okay. So if they got on a plane to leave the country, you would be alerted?
Correct.
To, the Victoria Clipper up to Canada by sea, or crossed a land border crossing either on foot or by car, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so, so they necessarily would have had contact with Border Patrol, correct? Is your understanding?
If done properly, yes.
I'm sorry, would you?
If done properly.
Okay. And so if they had crossed illegally, this travel alert would not have told you. Okay, so if they're doing it, pass on a boat or driving or walking through a port of entry, they're going to get flagged and you're going to be notified.
That's correct.
Okay. And that is by Homeland Security or Immigration Customs Enforcement?
All under Homeland Security umbrella, I believe.
Okay. And you're not aware of how the system works, correct?
Not in detail, no.
Okay. But they present a passport or something, correct?
Correct.
And the person puts it in, that information is then generated, and then that is communicated to you, correct?
In essence.
Okay. And you don't know, do you know how she got there, by land, air, or sea?
Got where?
Or how the alert was prompted?
That was an attempted border crossing by land.
And how did you get that information?
From more than one federal partner.
And so, is that a person called you, emailed you? How was that information
I
conveyed?
received at least one phone call and I believe an email.
Okay. And the email was from a person?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing further. Thank you.
Anything further, Ms. Stone?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and have you step.
All right, so the issue here was essentially hearsay. Now, he put out this all-points bulletin that if any of the Ali family tried to travel outside the country, he was to be notified. He was, in fact, notified that Zahraa had gone up trying to get from Washington State to Canada. He was notified, went up, picked her up. The information that he was questioned about was whether he could talk about what he was told by the border agents, because again, that's hearsay. But it seems as though the way he testified was satisfactory to the judge. It's mostly his knowledge, or really all of his knowledge, so she decided to allow him to testify. So I want to take you back into court now, where he is actually on the stand testifying in front of the jury.
Our detective unit.
And were you employed by the Lacey Police Department in October of 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you familiar with an event that occurred at Timberline High School on October 18th of 2024?
I am.
Were you actually at the scene of that event?
No.
How did you become involved in that event?
The following Monday, on October 21st, I was briefed about the incident by the school resource officer.
Who is that school resource officer?
Officer Alicia Howard.
Okay. And was Officer Howard you said she's a school resource officer. Were detectives involved in that case at that time?
No, ma'am.
Did you assign any detectives to that case at that time?
I did.
Who did you assign?
Detective Julie Mullen.
Okay. And what was Detective Mullen's role or purpose in that investigation?
I had asked Detective Mullen to liaise with and assist School Resource Officer Howard with the investigation that was ongoing.
Okay. And after your initial interaction with Officer Howard, did you reach out to any federal partners associated with this case?
Yes, I did.
Who did you reach out to?
I first contacted Customs and Border Patrol at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport.
Okay. And what was the purpose of doing that?
I inquired if any international travel had occurred involving any of the Ali family.
Okay. And did you reach out to any other federal partners or engage any other federal resources as part of that query?
I did.
And what or who was that?
Both Customs and Border Patrol and a task force officer with the FBI were involved with my request to place a travel alert on members of the Ali family.
What is a travel alert?
A travel alert is entered into a federal system database that alerts points of entry by land, sea, or air of any attempt to travel.
And how does that work? How do you do that? Does that question make sense? Meaning, is there a system that automatically generates that, or is it something different?
There is a system when you check in for travel at, say, an airport, and they're scanning your passport or other ID. That's being checked in a database that includes this particular database that would alert them if there was an entry in there for a travel alert.
Thank you. Did you engage with Child Protective Services throughout the pendency of this case?
I did.
Okay. And after meeting with Officer Howard, assigning Detective Mullen, setting up the travel alert, were you engaged in any search warrants executed in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When was that, if you recall?
Approximately a month later, I believe it was November 20th of 2024.
Okay. And you said November 20th of 2024?
Correct.
And where did you execute that warrant?
At the Ali residence in Lacey.
Okay. And by the time you executed that warrant on November 20th of 2024, was there anything of evidentiary value located at that residence?
No, ma'am.
Did you have any other involvement following that in this case?
No.
Thank you. I have no further questions at this time.
Mr. Kading, cross-examination.
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. O'Leary.
No questions. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break right here, folks. But before we do, we'd like to welcome our viewers who are joining us today on our YouTube channel. And we're going to be monitoring that page live throughout the show today. We're going to be answering a few of your questions. So join the chat, send us your questions, and have a chance to have them answered right here live on the air. Again, that's YouTube.
Too far or too close, okay? All right. Were you employed by Timberline High School on October 18th of 2024?
Yes.
Were you working on that day?
No.
Are you familiar with the students at your high school?
I am.
Okay. Do you know a student by the name of Fatima?
Do.
And how long have you known Fatima?
Since she started at the school, I believe she started the middle of her freshman year, and this was the beginning of her junior year in 2024.
So approximately 3 years, as you recall, or 2 years, give or take?
Yeah.
And are you familiar with another student? Do you know how long you've known Isaiah?
Since he started at Timberline High School.
Okay. Are you aware of anything of significance that occurred on October 18, 2024, as it related to those two students at your high school?
I am aware that there was...
Just a yes or no?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And without repeating what you've heard, how did you become aware of these events?
Well, I was alerted on my phone originally that there was a lockdown at the school.
Okay. As the assistant principal, do you get those notices? Are you responsible for getting those notices when they come up?
Yes.
Okay. Based on your education, well, have you ever had experience with runaways at your school?
Yes.
Okay. Based on your education, training, and experience, are there situations where the school may not immediately notify law enforcement or immediately notify parents if contact with that child?
Yeah, I think that's the whole purpose for doing this, is to catch everything. And I think that the judge doesn't want them live streaming it. I mean, I guess they're still in the courtroom to get this part, but I think this is the delay thing, is so they don't miss anything, because they were missing stuff and it made the judge mad.
Is made.
Yes, if the student has disclosed safety concerns, where we would notify CPS or notify law enforcement.
And does the school have staff or nonprofit assistance in such a case to potentially provide support to that student?
Yes.
Do you know if on October 18th, 2024, whether that student, Fatima Ali, was enrolled in your school?
Fatima was not enrolled in our school on October 18th.
And you indicated that she had previously been enrolled in your school. When had she become unenrolled at your school?
My recollection is it was the end of September. I believe it was like September 27th.
Okay. And about how long, was she still a student of the North Thurston School District?
Yes, she was. She had been at an online school.
What was the name of that online school, if you know?
Summit.
And do you know how her enrollment in the online school occurred? What was the process in getting her into that online school?
So, I believe it was September 17th or 18th. Mrs. Ali had met with North Thurston High School and or had her transfer to Fatima's transfer to North Thurston High School denied. And she reached out to appeal that to our assistant superintendent, Nikki Grubbs, who handles that. From that point, we worked with Mrs. Ali and the other schools to see where would be a good fit for Fatima. I was involved in those meetings, as well as some other district and other high school staff.
And was Summit Online, as an educator, was that your first choice for Fatima?
No.
Whose choice was that?
That was one of the choices, but that was the choice that Mrs. Ali wanted for Fatima.
And you talked about that happening somewhere around, a request for that transfer occurring somewhere around September 17th or 18th. Are you familiar whether there was an incident at school prior to that regarding Mrs. Ali?
Yes, there was an incident prior to that regarding Mrs. Ali on September 16th.
Okay. And as a result, well, who, without relaying any details, who was that incident between Mrs. Ali with?
With Isaiah.
Incident with Isaiah. School or school district take any specific actions as a result?
As a result of that, I put in a no trespass with Mrs. Ali, and she was no longer allowed on Timberline or North Thurston District.
Okay.
North Thurston.
All right, we're going to step aside here for a short break. When we come back, testimony in the attempted murder trial of Ihsan and Zahraa Ali continues with the assistant principal of Fatima's former high school. Keep it here on your front row seat to justice.
Well, I was hoping this would lead us right up to Coburger, but I don't think done before then.
North Thurston Public School.
Trespass notice was ever served on Mrs. Ali?
Yes, it was served to Mrs. Ali on September 17th.
And so if I understand, the incident happens on or about September 16th. The trespass order is served on or about the 17th, and the request for the transfer of Fatima happens somewhere around the 17th or the 18th, the same day. Is that correct? Or shortly thereafter?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall, is at any point during this Fatima still going to school, or is she withdrawn from school?
Fatima was still attended school the 16th and 17th, and then did not show up the 18th or thereafter.
Was she withdrawn from school by her parents?
She was not in attendance. She eventually was withdrawn to go to Summit.
Okay, do you recall when she was withdrawn?
I believe the transfer to Summit happened September 27th.
Okay. And during the course of your, well, let me back that up. Is there actually a withdrawal notice or form, so to speak?
Once a student is accepted into another North Thurston Public Schools school, it goes from one registrar to the other. So they just request that student come over, and then we all get notices about that, emails.
Okay.
The student has withdrawn emails.
Oh, okay. And during the course of your decision making to have her go to the online school, were there any other decisions or any other alternatives or options made available?
Envision Career Academy was...
What is that?
It's one of our high schools. It's an alternative learning option. It's an in-person high school has a smaller campus, and that was one, they had open enrollment at that time for Fatima, and two, Fatima does better in school and it's in person, by what she told us and what we thought would fit for her, and having her have access to adults we thought would be helpful to her during that time.
May I approach?
You may.
Waltermeyer, I'm going to ask you to look at what's been marked as State's Exhibit 113 as well as what's been marked as State's Exhibit 121. Can you please look at those silently to yourself and then look up at me when you're done? And Ms. Waltermeyer, do you recognize what I've handed you?
Yes.
Okay, and what are those?
This is the no trespass order that I issued.
Okay, and State's Exhibit 113, you picked up a document, was that State's Exhibit 113?
Yes.
Okay, and that is a copy of the the trespass order that you issued regarding Mrs. Ali from September 16th, is that correct?
Yes.
Is it the 16th or the 17th?
The incident happened on the 16th. We met on the 17th.
Okay, and is State's Exhibit 113 a true and accurate copy of the order that you issued?
Yes.
Okay. And I'd like you to look at State's Exhibit 121 now. And when you look at State's Exhibit 121, aside from a reduction, is that a true and accurate copy of State's Exhibit 113?
Yes.
Okay. And based on those exhibits, well, how do you know that those exhibits are the trespass letters? I know it sounds like a silly question.
Because I have a copy, because that's my signature.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, at this time the state would move to admit State's Exhibit 113 and 121. Or excuse me, 121 only.
121 only. Mr. Kading?
No objection.
Mr. Larry? 121 shall be admitted.
May I read those, Your Honor?
You may.
I'm going to ask you some additional questions, Ms. Waltermeyer. You indicated that there was the incident on the 16th, is that correct?
Yes.
And regarding that incident, you issued this trespass letter, is that correct?
Yes.
And prior to issuing that trespass letter, do you do anything to confirm or corroborate that that trespass letter should be issued? Meaning that there's a basis for issuing it.
Yes, I looked at video footage on September 16th.
Okay, thank you. And is that a decision you make? Is that a decision that the principal makes? How does that decision occur?
I made that decision to find the footage.
Okay. And when you made the decision to trespass Miss Ali, where was Miss Ali trespassed from? Where, what parts was she trespassed from?
Timberline High School, and in that letter it says all North Thurston public school properties.
And you indicated you had a meeting with her, is that correct?
I did.
Okay. And so how was that notice served on her? Can you describe how that meeting went? Without repeating anything anyone said to you, how did that meeting go? What does that look like?
We met in person that day, and so it was Mrs. Ali, Officer Howard, and I, and Haneen came in, the daughter.
Okay, and where did you meet?
In my office.
And you said initially, well, Mrs. Ali's daughter, do you know what Mrs. Ali's daughter's name is?
Haneen.
Okay. It's not a test.
Okay.
When Haneen came, was Haneen there at the beginning of the meeting, in the middle of the meeting, at the end of the meeting, or something else?
She was there towards the beginning of the meeting. We met, or we waited for Haneen to get there.
Okay. So initially, I'm sorry?
At Mrs. Ali's request.
All right, we're going to take a break here, and on the other side, the assistant principal describes her interaction with Zahraa and her other daughter, Haneen. Keep it here on your front row seat to justice.
He's her parent and he's bigger than you. Why didn't you just let him take her home?
Because he didn't want to take her home.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, we're live from Boise ahead.
Let's go back.
And Officer Howard met in your office for that meeting. And then, if I understand your testimony, Haneen arrived later?
Yes.
Okay. And you waited based on mom's request, is that correct?
Yes.
While you were waiting for Haneen to arrive at Mrs. Ali's request, were you able to engage with Mrs. Ali?
Yes.
Okay. And how would you describe, without repeating anything anyone said, how would you describe the nature of that interaction?
Overall, the nature was good. She was telling us, communicating about an incident over the weekend.
Okay. Was that communication with you ongoing in English or something else?
In English.
Okay. Prior to Haneen arriving, had you provided her with the trespass letter? Or do you recall telling her what the meeting was about?
Yes, we did tell her what the meeting was about. We did present the trespass order, as I recall. That's what I recall. Officer Howard did ask if she wanted an interpreter, and she asked for Haneen instead. And so at that point, we paused to wait for Haneen, is my recollection.
Okay, so when you had that initial interaction, if I understand your testimony correctly, you offered her an interpreter and that was declined. Is that correct?
Yes.
When you say interpreter, what did that look like? How do you have Arabic interpreters in the school, or would you have used something else? What did that mean to you?
Officer Howard was going to use their language line, and the school district does have a language line, but Officer Howard was going to use theirs.
Okay. Did you feel prior to Haneen arriving you were able to communicate with Mrs. Ali?
Yes.
Did you communicate about one topic, several topics, no topics, or something else?
We communicated about the trespass. So we communicated...
Again, without relaying what that conversation is, just a number of different topics.
A number of different topics, yeah. We communicated about something over the weekend, and we talked about Fatima overall, like academics and how she was doing in school and some of mom's concerns for Fatima.
So overall, there was a number of topic areas that you discussed, and all of that was in English. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then when Haneen arrives, what happens when Haneen arrives?
When Haneen arrives, we go over the trespass letter again. Haneen does relay the information to Mrs. Ali, and they talk back and forth. Mrs. Ali would ask questions, so would Haneen. Some of it went from Mrs. Ali in their native language to Haneen, and then Haneen would ask the question, or Haneen would clarify for Mrs. Ali.
Right. At any point during your interaction with Mrs. Ali, did she indicate she didn't understand the order?
No.
With Haneen present, did either Mrs. Ali or Haneen on behalf of Mrs. Ali communicate any clarifying questions about the order's parameters, meaning the limitations on that order?
I think that Mrs. Ali asked about pickup, and we talked about how Haneen could come and pick her up, or Mr. Ali could come and pick up the kids, but she was no longer allowed to be at school. No.
Was she given an opportunity to ask questions about the order before Haneen arrived?
Yes.
And what about after Haneen arrived?
Yes.
And throughout this interaction, did she indicate whether she affirmatively understood the order itself?
Yes, she understood the order.
My question was whether she indicated she understood.
So I'll sustain that the answer was non-responsive. The question did not call for speculation.
So just listen to the question. Did Mrs. Ali indicate to you that she understood the order?
Yes.
And did you provide her, not just show her that order, but did you provide her with her own copy of that order as well?
Yes.
Okay. When you say that Haneen was present, Haneen came later, did you have then one conversation? Let me strike that. If I understand your testimony, it sounds like you talked about the trespass order before Haneen came, in part or in full, and then talked about it again when Haneen got there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that order, the copy of that order, was that presented when Haneen was present?
Yes.
May I publish 121, please, Your Honor?
You may.
And Mrs. Waltermeyer, can you tell the jury what we're looking at on State's Exhibit 121? First of all, what's at the top of that page as you're looking at it on the screen?
That is the North Thurston Public Schools symbol. I can't think of the right word for it. And it's our letterhead.
And do you recognize the third name down on the upper right-hand side?
Yes.
Whose name is that, ma'am?
That is my name.
Okay. And underneath of all of the names, what is indicated there as to where this is being generated from?
Timberline High School.
Okay. Is there a date associated with this letter?
2 dates, yes. September 17th.
And what date is September 17th? Indicated up here. What is that intended to indicate?
The day that it was issued.
Okay. And who is it issued to?
Zahraa Ali.
All right, that's going to wrap up our coverage for tonight. Thanks to Noah Pines for joining us. I'm Michael Ayala. It's been a pleasure being with you. Thank you so much, as always, for being with me. Up next, it's Closing Arguments. Ted Rowland is in for Vinnie Politan. Ted is live from Boise, Idaho, where he's gearing up for Brian Koberger's court appearance tomorrow.
That sucks. I hate this. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I am so mad at Court TV right now. Why can't you? They do this for a living. Like, this is not the first trial with minors. I don't understand why there was a problem this time. Okay, guys, this is going to redirect you to Koberger. We are going to go right over there. It starts at 11, but let me see if they're live yet. Because the actual sentencing does not start until 11. But let's see if they're live yet. Nope, it still says upcoming. Sentencing day. Okay, guys. Okay. It's going to redirect you. We're going to take a little break because it's not going to start for about 20 minutes. So I will see you guys over there if you're not going to join us. We will be back trying to cover the rest of this trial, however Court TV is going to do it. So make sure your notifications are on because I have no idea what's going to happen today. We are as caught up in be because of the snafu, shenanigans, whatever you want to call it. This is a train wreck. But I'm doing my best. So I will see you guys when I see you. So this will redirect you to the Coburger feed and it starts at 11. So bye guys.